Welcome to Product Marketing Alliance and thanks for tuning in. While we're waiting to go live, for those of you that are new to PMA, let's take a whistle-stop tour of what it is that we actually do. Our community. We're home to more than 10,000 product marketers across the world, and every single day, tons of product marketing specific conversations go down. The community is an absolute wealth of knowledge and answers, and a constant place of inspiration. We publish several industry reports a year, and in them we look at everything from the main responsibilities of product marketing to the average salaries across the world, to how those in the C-suite view and value our role. On our content platform, we and industry specialists are adding new articles every single day so that you can get your fix on everything from positioning all the way through to OKRs. We've got 2 podcasts on the go where we speak to product marketers from all over the world about everything from how they got into the industry to what a day in the life looks like for them. Product Marketing Fix, our very own product marketing streaming service, has new video footage added every week and includes everything from presentations to Q&As. And then there's Ask Me Anythings. Every other week, we put PMMs from organizations like Google, IBM, and SurveyMonkey under the spotlight to answer all your burning questions. Then there's our membership plans. You get access to an ever-growing bank of templates and frameworks, exclusive content from influential industry leaders, hundreds of hours of product marketing presentations, our mentorship program, and much more. Product marketing certification covers 11 essential modules on the A to Z of product marketing. You'll be given exams throughout, hours of bonus footage, live weekly workshops, and official certification at the end. Keep your eyes peeled too, there are plenty more masterclass courses coming. Our product marketing jobs board is the only recruitment resource dedicated solely to PMMs. And companies like HubSpot, LinkedIn, and Typeform trust us to find their talent. Our partners over at Product Marketing World tour the globe with their summits year-round. And outside of that, we have Meetup ambassadors who organize local gatherings at least once a quarter. If you want to start building your personal profile and putting your words in front of industry enthusiasts, our blog gets hundreds and thousands of hits every month, making it the perfect place to showcase your work. Not only that, we have our product marketing awards, our ambassador program, our newsletters, and our tools directory. We really are, dare I say it, a one-stop shop. That's all for now, so let's get stuck in with today's LinkedIn Live.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. It's really sad to not be face-to-face with you all in Singapore. I'd hoped to have been there, but we're living in the Corona world, and I appreciate you all for making it nonetheless. So I want to talk about a topic that I think is incredibly important within product marketing. This really gets around messaging, it gets around customer centricity, it gets around working with your product teams to drive meaningful results for your company as well as for your customers. And really, this is going from features to what your customers actually care about. So I'm Josh Galziner, I run product marketing for Juvo, and again, really excited to be talking about this today. So one of the scariest things that can happen in product marketing is when a product manager comes to you and says, we've just added this new feature to the roadmap and I can't wait to tell you all about it. Whew. This is a scary one because you simply don't know how this is going to go, and the range of different ways that this can go is very high. But there's basically 3 ways that this is going to go. And I always find the best way to explain these types of outcomes is with hilarious video clips from the 1990s. And so with that, I'm going to walk you through the 3 ways in which this conversation is likely to go. Okay, Dumb and Dumber has done an excellent job of explaining what happens when a product manager totally nails it. Sometimes a product manager is going to come to you with an idea and you just immediately know this is going to work. They got what the customer cares about. They got how they can develop a product in a way that really solves problems and is going to make everybody happy. Great work, but it's not always going to go this way.
Mr. Madison, what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Okay, a simple wrong would have done just fine, but
You remain one.
Billy Madison here has had a tougher time explaining his new idea. But what this does do, and you see his reaction at the end, this is an important thing to think about. You want to ensure that product managers are always wanting to talk to you, that you want them to come to you with their ideas. And so if you make them feel like their idea is bad, even when it flat out stinks, you're going to have a problem. So it is important to try to work with your product managers when they do come to you with an idea that just simply makes no sense. Ask them questions, try to understand, work under the assumption that they do know what they're talking about, and try to better work through the problem. You may get to the point for which you simply can't work this out. And that's okay. This is part of the process. But the good news is this is the least frequent type of outcome. Okay, next we go to South Park.
This is where all our work is done.
So what are you gonna do with all these underpants that you steal?
Collecting underpants is just phase one. Phase one, collect underpants.
So what's phase 2?
Hey, what's phase two? Phase one, we collect underpants. Yeah, but what about phase two? Well, phase three is profit. Get it?
I don't get it.
You see, phase one, collect underpants. Phase two, phase three, profit.
All right, so the Underpants Gnomes. They totally get what it is that they're doing, and they totally get where they want to go. There's just that issue in the middle, which we're going to talk about a little bit more. So how likely are each of these scenarios going to happen? Now, this is data I completely made up. This is based on my own experience, but most of the time you're going to get Underpants Gnomes type pitches from your product managers. You may get the occasional Lloyd Christmas where they just absolutely know the right thing, they have the best idea, and you're super excited to work on it. Unfortunately, every now and then, as I made up 3.6% of the time, you're going to get a Billy Madison scenario where no matter how many times you ask questions, no matter how hard you try, the idea simply doesn't make sense. Now, like I said, this is okay. It's something you can work through. But let's look at what some of those examples would be. I'm going to show you, these are actual slides that product managers have tried to show me. And they wanted to show to customers as is. I know, just looking at this makes your brain hurt. Who are the participants? What are we trying to accomplish? Who is a service provider? What is going on? Again, I having worked at Juvo, I have no idea what's going on here. I have no idea what the problem we're trying to solve is. I have no idea what the product is. So I think there's some bits and pieces that are useful here, but I need to ask a lot of questions to get this to a place where it might actually make sense outside of the four walls of Juvo. Now this one, woof. I am not a mathematician. I do not understand what's going on here. I am going to work under the assumption that there's some really good ideas here because some smart people came up with this. But man, oh man, I do not know how to explain this, nor do I know what's going on. So a lot of questioning needs to go into this to better understand. So the thing you have to remember is that most product managers are Underpants Gnomes. They're going to be really good at giving you ideas, and the ideas are going to make sense. But how those ideas translate into benefits and really the outcomes that your customers care about requires your work. But there are some things that they did get right. So let's talk about that. The Underpants Gnomes knew what they had built. They knew what the product was. The product was to steal underpants. And they knew what they wanted to accomplish. They knew where they wanted to go. They wanted to get to profit. They just didn't know how to draw the line from stealing underpants to profit. And really, this is your job as a product marketing manager, because product managers frequently struggle at how to define the value that their products deliver. They're very good at saying what this might do for an individual and how they might feel about it. But what's the actual value? And this is where you have to do your job. You have to put on your product marketing cape and really get to a place where you think about what is it that your customers care about most. Now, a simple way to think about this is features, benefits, and outcomes. Now, features is typically where you're going to start off in this process. A product manager is going to bring you an idea that is a thing. And this thing could be great, but this thing has to lead to some sort of benefit for your customer, and that benefit has to generate some kind of outcome. The benefit alone isn't going to sell this for you. There has to be something even higher up, something aspirational that your customer is actually going to care about and want to make the decision based upon. So if we think about this from an ancient product, an iPod, what was the iPod in the first place? It was a portable music player, but a big part of this was that it had 1 gigabyte of storage, so you could put all these music files on it. But what does that mean to you as a person? Okay, in this instance, it means you can put 1,000 songs in your pocket. And that's kind of cool. You can think about that. That's really tangible. And a lot of Apple's marketing was really around this idea of putting 1,000 songs in your pocket. But what does it mean for you once you have this? What is the outcome? It means you don't have to make these tough decisions. How many songs can I fit on the playlist? Don't have to think about that if you've got 1,000 songs. Now, granted, we've moved on to a place where maybe 1,000 songs is nowhere near enough, but probably the most important songs to you are easily accessible instantaneously through an iPod. So to go from features to benefits to outcomes, you have to remain customer centric. Now, product managers, really good at developing features, and the best ones can translate those features into benefits. But it's up to you as a product marketer to take features all the way through to benefits and outcomes. And you have to do this by thinking in the way that your customer would think about this. And the way that you dig deeper is to ask why. And you have to probably do so in a way that's annoying. But it's your job to ask difficult questions of your product managers. A product manager might come to you and say, this new customer portal is awesome. You have to be a little skeptical and say, why? Well, it gives customers far more control over their deployment. Okay, sounds good. But why does that matter to them? It means they can customize the end user experience. Okay, these all sound like good things. We're starting to get to a place where we have some benefits here. We have control over deployment. We have customizing end user experience. Those are good benefits. But what is the outcome? What does that do for the business? Okay, it reduces risk while increasing revenues. Reducing risk and increasing revenues. Who would not want that from their business? Now we've gotten to outcomes that are really tangible and really compelling. The key thing is that you have to answer these whys in terms that your customer would use. Now, it's not the product manager's job to do that. It's your job to translate what they have said for those why questions into terms that your customers actually care about. So, what are the things that people really want? They want convenience. They want to work less. They want it to be transparent. They want it to fit into their daily lives and into their schedule. They want a better experience. They want it to be intuitive. They want it to work the way they work. They want it to meet the unique needs that they have. Every customer thinks that they're special. They want performance. Everybody wants bigger, better, faster, more reliable, longer lasting. All of these things are really important. And lastly, there's business results. And obviously this applies to B2B. But really the outcome that you have to think about in B2B frequently is, what does this do for the individual that makes the purchase decision? Do they get promoted? Do they get a bonus? Do they get a raise? What is the outcome that means they've done a good job? If they can make a purchase decision for your product or service that leads to a desirable outcome, that then leads to personal outcomes for them, that is the peak of success in B2B. So take a minute now, take a minute later, but at some point, take a minute and write down the things you wish the customers would say about your product or feature or service. Just write it down. Think about it in the terms that they would use. Write it from their point of view. You might get something like these. So like Slack integration means I can automate alerts and focus on what really matters. We're delivering convenience there. It's great. The app redesign is so intuitive, it makes me feel like a pro. This is an experiential piece. We've made this person feel better, smarter, more productive in their job. Enhanced uptime means I can sleep better at night. And this is really what matters around performance. Performance doesn't matter in the sense of I get 3x, 3 times faster. What does that mean? More reliable? That's great, but what does it mean? It means that somebody doesn't have to think about things. They don't have to worry about it. That's really why performance matters. Lastly, sales tools increased our company revenues by 8% this year. This is clearly where you've contributed to business results and where you're going to make this person successful in their job. So, customer messaging needs to reflect the things you wish that your customers would say. So take the things that you've written down, take the things that you wish your customers would say about your product and turn that into messaging. That's where you're going to make it really effective. And what does it mean if we get all of this right? It's not easy. It's a lot of work. But this is really where you get to shine as a product marketer. It means you can attract new customers. You can get new customer types, get into new customer segments, and attract more customers within those segments and types. It means you can keep your customers. You can increase your renewal rate, you can increase engagement, reduce churn, abandonment of your product. And it means you can get into new revenue sources. Maybe there's ways you can cross-sell and upsell your product. Maybe you can increase utilization, which means you get more users on your platform, for example. The more that you drive utilization, the more you can drive revenues. So I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. I am on the line to answer your questions. And once again, I'm sorry I couldn't be with you, but I look forward to once again returning to Singapore. Thank you.